So I've been asked to do some arc reviews of Berserk. I'll probably end up doing them in YouTube short format eventually, but I've recently been live streaming on Twitch, been reading the Berserk manga since I've never read it before, been a little bit inconsistent, but I'm trying my best. I'm up to around chapter 130. And something really stood out to me, and that is the dynamic between Guts and Griffith. My favorite type of anime characters are those that are very calm, collected, strategic, and manipulators. Some of those include Ayane Yakoji from Clash of the Elite. We know that he tries his best to not be in the limelight. He likes to be in the background, not do anything, but when push comes to shove, he does everything that he needs to in order to win, and he's secretly really smart. Ashlad from Vinland Saga, that man comes up with so many plans in order to get ahead. And then my favorite villain, who is Aizen, he is so dangerous that even though he is locked up in prison, people still fear him. And Griffith, he is one of those type of characters, and I really like him. So in this video, I want to talk about the dynamic between Griffith and Guts, and this is before he ended up, well, kind of a little bit when he was a demon, but really before he turned into a demon. But if you guys enjoy regular anime content, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I greatly appreciate it. With that away, let's talk about Guts and Griffith. During the prologue, Guts, he went against the Band of the Hawk, and then Griffith ended up stepping in and he took Guts down. This is the first time that we've seen Guts be defeated, and there's no disrespect for the other members like Casca, Little Old Rooker, Judea, Pippin, or Corcus, but Griffith is just different. Later, Griffith, he told Guts that he likes him and that he is his, and I'm like, dang, Guts, I guess that means you're his property. And Guts, he didn't like that, so they ended up fighting with whoever won got to do whatever they wanted. If Griffith won, then Guts was his, and if not, if Guts won, then he was free to leave. And Guts, he is the first person to be displayed to be somewhat of Griffith's equal, which is really interesting because all the other Band of the Hawks, they've never been displayed in that light. Someone who could challenge him, someone who could be his right-hand man, and that is why Griffith liked Guts so much. Guts is someone whose life has been non-stop fighting on the battlefield. All he knows is how to swing that long sword. This is all he knows is how to fight. However, in joining the Band of the Hawk, he learned not only to fight for himself, but for other people, his comrades, and especially Griffith. At this point in the series, Guts is someone without any dreams, aspirations, goals, or desires compared to Griffith, who has a goal, and that is to be the ruler of a kingdom. Griffith is someone who do whatever it takes to achieve his goal, and I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video, but there's something from chapter 12 that I really liked. Griffith was talking about what it means to be a friend to him. He said it's someone who never depends upon another's dreams, someone who wouldn't be compelled by anyone, but would determine and pursue his own reason to live. And should anyone trample that dream, he would oppose him body and soul, even if the threat were me myself. What I think a friend is one who is my equal. Griffith wants someone by his side who can challenge him with his own dream, not someone who is blindly following him. And this weighed heavy on Guts, someone who had never had any dreams, goals, or aspirations before. Because Griffith is the first one that Guts respected, so he wants to be someone that is his friend, that is his equal. He wants to stand by him. In being the captain of the Band of the Hawk, Guts, he would indeed assist Griffith's goal to be the king and achieve his kingdom. However, he wouldn't be his friend. So that's why Guts decided to head out on his own, to be someone worth of being called Griffith's friend, to be his equal. For around 20 chapters or so, Guts, he was contemplating whether or not he should leave the Band of the Hawk or not, and then in chapter 35 he stilled his resolve and decided to leave. He wanted to journey on his own, figure out who he is, what he could possibly achieve, what dream he wants to go after, and in doing this, he'll be able to stand by Griffith's side. As he tried to leave Griffith, he stopped him saying, "Hey, you're mine, you're not allowed to leave." Guts and Griffith, they fight, Guts wins, and he leaves the Band of the Hawk. After Guts had left, Griffith, he fell into depression. He wasn't the same, and what's so tragic is Guts, he's doing this for Griffith, but Griffith, he doesn't want Guts to leave. So in essence, the words that Griffith said about what he defines a friend, it sparked all this, and he doesn't even realize that Guts is leaving to be someone of his equal. They both want each other, but they're going in different ways about it than what they think the other would actually want. So after Guts left, Griffith, his plans kind of went south. He slept with the king's daughter, he was imprisoned, he was tortured, losing the ability to speak, to hold a sword. His dream of owning his own kingdom, it appeared to be lost. I believe it was a year later, don't quote me on that, Guts, he ends up returning to the Band of the Hawk, and he teams up with them in order to save Griffith. However, Griffith, because of being tortured, he would never be the same again. And then the Balak happened, it unleashed or unlocked, I don't really know exactly how that worked, but he was approached by the 4 kings of the world and they asked him to turn into a demon. And if he did that, he'd be able to move again, fight again, and in order to achieve his dreams, he would gain access to that, but then he would also have to sacrifice his friends. In chapter 77, there was a panel, or I guess you could say the overall theme was Griffith stepping over some dead bodies. Those bodies were to represent the different people that were killed in Griffith's quest to become king of a kingdom. The deaths, they were either the ones killed by Griffith or the ones that were fighting for his cause. And those corpses represent the amount of sacrifice that was given for Griffith. If he was to turn back on his drink, everyone that had died, everyone that had been sacrificed, it would have all been for nothing. So he had to still his resolve, accept those sacrifices, and keep going to achieve his dream, even if it included killing more people and sacrificing more. This reminds me a lot of the scene with Erwin in Attack on Titan, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, technically this came out first, so Berserk, it should remind me more of Attack on Titan, but still they just are very similar scenes. So Griffith, he ended up turning into a demon, and I'm not really sure why people were surprised by Griffith's betrayal. Granted, the reason, well, one of the main ones why I wasn't really surprised, because a lot of people have talked about Guts versus Griffith, and how Griffith is such a great villain, so I assumed he was going to be one of the main bad guys in the series. And maybe his squad just didn't want to accept it because, or they were naive, since Griffith was someone who had been fighting by their side for so long. But Griffith displayed time and time again that he is willing to do anything to achieve his goal. He slept with, I don't know exactly what their status was, but it was somewhat of high status for money, which allowed him to pay for troops, weapons, etc. He had Guts assassinate different people that stood in his way. Granted, some of them tried to assassinate Griffith first, but still. And then Griffith, he had some high-ranking officials killed in an arson as well. So sacrificing his friends, turning into a demon in order to regain his body to achieve his dream, that doesn't surprise me one bit. Now I will say, betraying Guts, doing that stuff with Casca, that was really dirty, I'm not gonna lie, because Griffith, he was jealous of seeing Guts and Casca's relationship. And I'm not gonna get too in depth with what Griffith ended up doing because it's a very sensitive topic, and if you guys read Berserk, you guys understand, but still, I will say Griffith did Guts very dirty in that instance, and that was disrespectful. A question that could be asked is, well, if all of this happened, should Guts has left? And the answer to that is, well, I don't really know. The past is the past. I can't guarantee that if he didn't leave, that Griffith wouldn't have eventually turned into a demon. But because Guts left Griffith and he got tortured and he needed to be restored having a demon's body, that's kind of why this all happened. Who knows, maybe if Guts didn't leave, then Griffith still would have eventually unlocked the Bailiffs and still turned into a demon. I personally think that Guts leaving, it was the right decision. He needed to leave to understand more about himself and what he truly desired. As his friend, Griffith should have understood that and supported him in his adventures, and vice versa. I think Guts should have talk to Griffith a little bit more so he could understand how he was feeling. But at the same time, I don't think either of them were at fault until the sacrifice stuff, because Griffith's kind of crazy. The reason why I like the dynamic between these two is because Griffith finally had someone he considered his equal in Guts. Because of his words, he unintentionally pushed Guts away. And like I said, I don't think it was a bad thing that Guts ended up leaving, but he did leave, and Griffith, turning to despair, was lost, and he ended up being tortured, being in a weakened state. He ended up becoming a demon, and Guts unintentionally caused Griffith to become a demon since he left. And it's funny because both these individuals wanted the best for each other, wanted to be equals, and now they're enemies. A truly tragic story. But yeah, that's just my thoughts about the tragic fate between Guts and Griffith. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I greatly appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. It's on the screen and the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.